Hey guys, Mr. Nichols here. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an explanation of not only what we're going to be doing today in class asynchronously, but also I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going to happen next week with our hybrid learning model. So first thing, I want to have you scroll down to our agenda for today. So today we're basically getting you exposed to some of the concepts that we're going to be talking about in our ecology unit. So I've gone and posted a document to Google Classroom called the Introduction to Ecology Exploration document, and that's the majority of what we're going to be working on today. Now don't forget, we do still need to complete that Enter the Biosphere by 4 p.m. today. Again, even if you're working on the assignments, we have to be doing the Enter the Biosphere in order to be marked present for that class period. So if you're keeping on getting marked absent, even if you're doing some of the work, make sure you're going in and completing that Enter the Biosphere. Okay, so we will not be having a synchronous Google Meet. I will be available during our class period using our class Meet, the one that's in the stream. So on the first page of Google Classroom in the banner, if you click that, I'll be in that room during our class period. But we're not going to have anything that we're meeting together for. This video should serve as what you're going to do for that. Okay, so again, Enter the Biosphere by 4 p.m. today, and then you're going to transition into the Introduction to Ecology Exploration. So this is going to be a little bit of preloading for what we're going to be learning about next week. And this is kind of how this process is going to work. Usually I'm going to be giving you some remote assignment the previous week for what we'll be covering next week. So that way, come Monday, everyone will be ready to go for whatever activities we might be doing in a hybrid or remote setting. So pretty simple for here. You're just going to be figuring out these definitions. So feel free to comb through the internet. I know it might seem like a lot. It really shouldn't be too hard to find these though. And you'll be able to hang on to this document throughout the rest of the unit, and you'll be able to use these key terms because these are definitely the things that we need to know. So then you're going to watch this brief little video on trophic levels. So essentially what we're going to be starting with our ecology unit is looking at how organisms interact with each other in environments. So the main thing that we're going to be starting with first is how they eat each other, how energy and matter is transferred throughout an ecosystem. So this is exploring a little bit of what's going on with trophic levels. So you'll just watch this brief video and then you'll answer these 3 questions. So you'll need to identify what each of those different parts of that pyramid, ecological pyramid, each one of those represents a trophic level. So you'll have to identify which trophic level is for each of those. And then you're going to come up with your own food chain. So this should be helping you get ready for what we're going to be doing in class next week. Okay, so you'll go ahead and you'll paste an image into this top box, and then you'll explain what trophic level it would be in this one. Now keep in mind that the arrow, notice how it's pointing down, it's going to be pointing towards the organism that's eating the organism that it's pointing away from. So we're showing the direction of that energy. So if something eats something else, that energy is transferred from the prey to the predator, right? So essentially this arrow is going to be pointing to the predator or whatever is going to be doing the eating, and it's pointing away from the prey or what is being eaten. Okay, so if you're still having difficulty with that, please feel free to let me know. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing for our activity today, and that's it. So that'll be it. This will be due by 11:59 on Sunday. Okay, so for today and really until Sunday, we go back to our agenda here. So if you haven't already, you'll need to have finished the independent variables and dependent variables activity. You'll need to also finish the group coral bleaching scientific variables activity. Remember, you needed to work together with your team. So if you didn't finish that document, make sure you reach out to your team members. If you were absent or if you didn't get assigned a team, you will just do that assignment on your own. So that is on Google Classroom. It really shouldn't be terribly difficult. I thought it would be something that would be nice for us to work on in groups, though. And then finally, you have the Introduction to Ecology Exploration document. So all three of those assignments will be due Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Okay, so that's for today. Now for next week, I wanted to, since we're going to be transitioning into hybrid, kind of show you what that's going to look like. Now, to be honest, the schedule is a little wonky. It's going to take some getting used to. And I really tried to streamline it as much as possible to help you figure out what's going to be going on each day. So essentially, the week is split up. A typical week is going to be split up like this. So you have blue days for cohort A are going to be in person for periods 1, 3, 5, and 7 on Monday. So that means that cohort B, you're going to be at home, being remote, doing an online assignment. Okay. And then our 100% remote students, so if you're not doing a hybrid schedule, you'll be doing that same online assignment that cohort B is doing on Monday. Okay, so for Tuesday then, cohort A is going to be remote, so you guys will be at home, and you'll be doing that same online assignment that cohort B did here. Then cohort B, you're essentially switching with cohort A, and now you're going to be coming in person. And again, this is just your blue day classes, so periods 1, 3, 5, and 7. So cohort B on Tuesday will be doing the in-person lab activity. Okay. Now our 100% remote students, and this might kind of vary from week to week depending on what the lab is. I am going to be recording basically a mock version of whatever the lab activity is. If it's an activity that can be easily replicated online, I might just post that assignment to you with a little bit of verbal instructions, just recording a video like this. But I'm going to try and emulate as much of the in-person lab activity as I can for our 100% remote students. So that's kind of my goal. Unfortunately, we won't be able to create the exact same experience. We just can't do that if you're not here in person, but I'm going to do my very best to make it as similar as possible for you. So that's for blue day. So that's a typical Monday and Tuesday. So Wednesday, that's going to be your silver day classes, so periods 2, 4, and 6. Then we kind of follow a similar pattern. So cohort A for periods 2, 4, and 6 on Wednesday will be in person. So that means that you'll be in class doing that activity. Cohort B will be at home on remote doing an online assignment. Okay. Same thing, so our 100% remote students are going to be doing that same online assignment on that Wednesday. Okay, so then on Thursday, again, cohort A and B switch. So now cohort A is going to be at home remote doing that online assignment. And then cohort B is going to be in person doing that lab activity in class. And again, our 100% remote students for silver days, I'm going to try and emulate that as best as I can. So just bear with me with that. And then finally, for Friday, a typical Friday is going to be asynchronous, meaning that you'll have a small activity to do for each of your classes. So make sure you communicate with your teacher on that day about what that's specifically going to look like. Now, that's going to be a very small assignment, to be honest, for me. I'm planning on having that be 10, 15 minutes at most. Maybe watching a video, answering some questions, doing a formative assessment. That's going to be about it. Okay, so that's Friday. So that's going to be all of our classes. So periods 1 through 7. Okay, now one thing I do want to mention is that I'm going to post all of our materials on Monday morning. So what that means is that they will be due on Sunday at 11:59, just like how we've been doing before. And if you think about it, essentially you have one activity, if you're hybrid, one activity in person, one activity online, and then a small activity on Friday. If you're 100% remote, you have that same online activity. You'll have a mock lab activity, and then you'll have that small activity on Friday. So essentially, you'll have for each of your classes, for each of your experiences in my classes, you're only going to have 3 essential groups of assignments all week. So that is kind of nice, and I'm going to give you the flexibility to work on those different pieces as much as at any point that works for you. So I should mention, though, that every day that you have your blue or silver day classes, at least for my classes, you will need to complete the attendance check. So for my forensic science students, that's the enter the crime scene. For my biology students, that's the enter the biosphere. So you will still need to do that on any day that we have class. So even if you're remote or in person, I'm still going to have you doing that same enter the biosphere, enter the crime scene. Okay, so that's our overall schedule. And I will actually be posting this slide just because I think it kind of helps to visualize it on our Google Classroom page. So you're welcome to look at that there. Now, keep in mind that I know we're talking about this typical week. Next week is not going to be a typical week since we have Labor Day off. So we're going to be starting with a Tuesday. So essentially the schedule is the exact same, except we're just losing that asynchronous Friday where you would go to all of your classes. So Tuesday, cohort A for a blue day is going to be in person. Cohort B is going to be online. Remote students, obviously, you're at home. Wednesday is still a blue day. So cohort A, you are going to be remote then. Cohort B, you're going to be in person. Again, 100% remote, you're at home. Thursday, now it's switched again. So we switch back to cohort A being in person, cohort B being online at home. And then on Friday, cohort A is remote, cohort B is in person. So I know that this can seem a little bit confusing, and feel free to reach out to me on Remind. I'd be happy to help explain it to you. I've also posted the schedule, so you're welcome to look at that here. I posted it on our agenda, so you can feel free to check that out there. The schedule is slightly different. It's pretty close, but it is slightly different. So make sure that you document this somewhere, put reminders in your phone, maybe even save this schedule on your phone. Might not be a bad idea. So that's kind of how everything is going to work. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. I know it might seem a little bit crazy. I guarantee once we get into the rhythm, you'll start to get the hang of it. It really won't be too tricky. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And our hybrid peeps, we'll see you in person next week. And our remote peeps, we'll see you in the digital sphere next week as well. So I hope you all have a great Labor Day weekend, and we will talk to you later. Take care, guys.